What's up guys, Jesse Wright here with YouCouldBe.com, and in today's video we're going to talk about how to screen your tenants and get your property rented out fast. So I'm driving today, so I won't be looking at the camera that much. I have 3 rehabs going on right now. I just signed a contract on a 4th house that will soon be under rehab unless I decide to wholesale it. So I've been crazy busy, but I don't want to let that keep me from posting anymore. So I'm just going to adapt a little bit. Hopefully I'll still be able to do a lot in the studio in the future, but right now I'm on the road a lot, so I'm trying to steadily give you guys more info on my process. It's going to be a little shaky here every once in a while. So one of the questions that I get asked a lot is, how do I screen my tenants? And the thing is, because I deal with a lot of Section 8, I deal with mostly lower income areas, the way that I screen tenants is a lot different than a lot of people. I don't really focus a lot on credit. I focus more on duration of employment, how long they've been employed, and their income. I would say income is the most important factor. I want to see 4 times the rent. So if I'm renting out a property for $1,000 a month, then I want to see $4,000 worth of income. If it's $500 a month, then I only need to see $2,000 worth of income. And I do want to see actual proof of income. They can't just tell me how much they make. Now, I try to make my process as easy for tenants as possible. When I say easy, I'm not talking about how I screen them, the factors that I consider when I'm deciding if they're going to rent from me. I'm talking about the actual process of applying, getting the house. I don't have them fill out a bunch of paperwork, and I don't usually do credit checks anymore. Sometimes if it's between 2 really good tenants, I'll do a credit check. But typically, my thought process is I want to get someone in this property as soon as possible, and I want to make it easy for them so that they don't go and find another place to rent instead of mine. And how I do this, it works out really well because it creates a large pool of tenants for me to choose from, and it also creates a sense of urgency so that I can get somebody locked in pretty quickly and charge the price that I'm hoping to charge. So I'm going to give you an example. I recently sold a turnkey property in a rural area where the median rent is about $500 a month for a 3-bedroom, 1 bath. And I had the property rented out for $650 a month when we went under contract. The tenant had been there for almost a year. She had shown no signs of being unhappy or being ready to leave. But when I let her know that the property was under contract and it was going to another investor, she told me she wanted to move out. And so I was like, great. I called the investor. I told him, look, the tenant says she wants to move out. If you want to back out of the contract, that's fine. I will gladly refund your earnest money, but I can get this property rented out within a couple days if you want to just continue on with the process. And so he said, sure, let's do it. He bought the property from me for $25,500, and like I said, it was rented out for $650 at the time. So as soon as she moved out, I listed the property on Marketplace and Facebook Marketplace, and within 2 days I had 80 people that had messaged me that wanted to come look at the property. And so what I did was I set an appointment up with each of them for the exact same time and the exact same day to come look at the property. Now, if you have 80 people that say they're going to come look at a property, that's really not going to be the case. I think about 25 people showed up, and they did stagger it a little bit. Some got there 15 minutes early, some got there 15 minutes late. And I just walked everybody through the property first. Now, when you have 25 people come and look at a property, they're all there together, well, that says to them, at least psychologically, man, if I want this property, I better do whatever I can to lock it in now. It creates a real sense of urgency, and it also shows that I, the landlord, or the guy showing the house. I'm not the needy one here. So it kind of frames me in that light. So then what I do after I show them all the houses, say, all right, so here's the deal. I'm showing this house for a company, and they get the final say on who gets the house. So basically what I'm going to do is I need some info from you guys. I let them know ahead of time that they needed to bring proof of income and some other things, driver's license. I said, so we're just going to go through a quick interview process one-on-one, and then either tonight or tomorrow I'll let you know if you are selected to rent the property. And that gives me all the power. So I'll ask them, you know, where they work, how long they work there, see some proof of income, the year-to-date stuff, get their driver's license, and, you know, I don't know if I should even say this over YouTube, but I kind of weed out the people that I think will be a pain in the butt. So, you know, for instance, if someone says, so you're going to do a little touch-up paint before we move in, or are you going to refinish the floors? Are you going to change out the countertops? That person's not getting the house. I'm not looking for any high-maintenance tenants. So I do tend to use my gut a lot in this process. Like I said, sometimes I'll do credit checks. Sometimes I'll do background checks, but I don't always do background checks. If it's a Section 8 tenant, they've already had a background check. And if they've had any evictions within, I believe, the last 5 years, they cannot be on the Section 8 program, at least in my area. So that kind of takes a lot of the guesswork out of the situation. Now, on a side note, let's just say it is a Section 8 tenant. Let's say I'm renting it out for $850 a month, and the tenant's portion of the rent is going to be $250. Okay, I want to see $1,000 worth of income. Sometimes I'll drop that down to $750. That's typically how I do things. So anyway, needless to say, that property was rented out, had a lease signed within, you know, the next day. So I think I had it on Marketplace for 2 days. I showed the property on the 3rd day, and then on the 4th day, the lease was signed. Picked a great couple. Wife worked for the Army National Guard. She was in school full time. And then the husband worked at a plant. I believe he made $800 a week, more than enough to suffice all of my criteria as far as income goes. He'd been at that plant for, I believe, 4 years. She'd been in the National Guard for, I believe, 1 year. They just had a brand new baby. Bottom line is, everything worked out. All right, so before I go on, I know there's a ton of you that are probably watching this and thinking to yourself, this guy is crazy. He doesn't usually run credit checks. He doesn't always run background checks. Why is he not doing that? Well, I will tell you that in the last 5 years, I have had to kick people out, but I have never had to take a single person to court. My eviction process is super solid. And at least so far it is. When I give somebody a 3-day notice to vacate or pay, they either pay or they're out in 3 days. And I'm not going to go into detail on that eviction process on YouTube. I will make a live video about it in the Rental Property Investors group on Facebook. If you're not already a member of that, you can just click the link in the description below and join. It's free. And I try to post a live video once every week or so. Just really whenever something comes up, I'll make a little live video. It's more what's going on with my rehabs for the most part, but every once in a while it's about something else. But going back to the screening of tenants and getting your place rented out fast, between the income and seeing how long they've been employed and just going with my gut, plus the fact that evictions are really easy for me, this has worked really well for me. So I hope that helps some of you. I know a lot of you are going to disagree with me on that, but you know, it's worked well for me. And I'm not trying to lead anybody astray here, but the fact of the matter is that a lot of people will screen themselves right out of every single available tenant in the area. And it's just like anything else.
you have to decide what level of risk you're comfortable with. That's the level of risk that I'm comfortable with. I am an extremely conservative guy in a lot of areas. You know, I like working with all cash, and people think I'm crazy for that. And sometimes I think I'm crazy for that because, you know, where they have, you know, 400 properties, I don't. But I know that I can always, at any time, if I get into an issue, pull money out of my existing equity and, you know, get myself out of a bind, God willing. So, you know, I'm really conservative in those areas, and that makes me a little bit more free to take on some risk in other areas. And really, I have not had any negative side effects from that yet. If anything, I've just had a better cash flow, where other people have properties that are on the market for 4, 5, 6 months. You know, my properties are on the market. The longest I've ever had a property on the market was for, I want to say, a week and 6 days. And that was because I was shooting for super high prices and then slowly, incrementally lowering the prices to find out what the most I could get for, you know, a specific house on a specific street was. So, you know, that was a vacancy that was calculated, you know. But anyway, I guess I'm done rambling for this video. Hopefully you guys don't mind that I'm doing this on the road instead of in the studio. I know there's a little bit more noise, but you know, background noise and shaky camera. But hopefully you guys care more about the content than the quality of the video. So that's all I have for this one. I will see you guys in the next one. Please like, comment, subscribe. Let me know if you think this is a good idea or not. If you think my screening process is crazy and I'm an idiot, I want to see it in the comments. And then everybody else can rush to defend me. I'll see you guys in the next one.